So this is the girl that I had originally watched when she had 300 subscribers. Now she has 122,000 subscribers. And this has been, I think, a pretty popular topic with a lot of people. And I think that video games are starting to shift away from having like weird, androgynous, weird-looking characters. But it's still ongoing a little bit, right?
And all of this is why I just do not understand why some developers keep getting it wrong. It really feels so simple. Yes, give us great gameplay, fun mechanics, a interesting and meaningful story, but then layer attractive, pretty characters on top of that to create hype around the game, grab our interest.
People want to roleplay as somebody they want to be. Nobody wants to be an androgynous, bald weirdo.
Now, let's talk about hot characters. I've always found it very interesting when I see some gamers say, I don't care what my character looks like, I just want a good game. And while, sure, I believe some people probably do feel that way, when you actually look around at what's successful,
the logic for that is so stupid. So if you don't care the way the character looks, then you're not part of the conversation about this to begin with. But whenever you talk about the people that do care how the character looks, the overwhelming majority want the character to look good. So if you are saying, by definition, I don't care about this, I don't care is not an argument against one side. It's you saying that you don't care about either side. So either you're saying you don't care, or you're trying to fight against the people that say that they do. And again, if you're trying to tell people what they can and can't like, or what they should and shouldn't like, I think you're in for an uphill battle.
What's not, what resonates, and what doesn't. The idea that visuals don't matter, it doesn't really hold up. The second you start digging into this stuff, it's pretty clear. Visuals play a huge role in whether something hits or flops. And if they didn't, cosmetics probably wouldn't be one of the most profitable parts of the entire gaming industry.
That's a great point. And I've said this before myself, and this is true, is that how do you say that people don't care how they look if cosmetics are so popular? Really, it doesn't make any sense.
I think most of us do care, even if it's subconsciously. And this isn't just a gaming thing, but for whatever reason, the gaming industry seems especially confused about it. Because books, anime, movies, shows, we care about how the characters look. We always have. Now,
well, movies have had this problem too, where like they keep casting actresses that are not really like particularly very attractive in roles, and the movies don't do as well as whenever they cast a really attractive actress in the role. It's a very, very important thing, and I think this is true also for men as well. Like it's not just for it's not just for girls, it's also for guys. Like a lot of movie star men are very attractive guys.
To be clear, an attractive character cannot save bad writing or bad gameplay. A great design won't make a boring game fun, and eye candy is totally pointless if there's zero substance to back it up. And on the opposite side, it's not like a game is necessarily doomed if the characters are uninspired or unattractive. But let's be honest, we have been done dirty quite a few times at this point.
Yeah. Well, I think it's pattern recognition with a lot of people. Like whenever they see a lot of these video games that come out with these weird androgynous characters and then the games are bad, I think people start to recognize a pattern where it's like, it seems like every single time one of these games comes out, it's always bad if it has these types of characters. And that's really it. It's all the time. Yeah, it's almost a 100% ratio.
When you combine great writing, gameplay, and a compelling visual design, that's really when the secret sauce hits. And that's when a character truly becomes iconic. So, how important is beauty really? What can it actually be used for in storytelling? And why does it matter at all? Yes, beauty is completely subjective, but let's try and figure it out together.
Yeah, beauty is subjective. Yes, this is true to an extent, okay? To an extent.
When it comes to storytelling, beauty isn't just about looking good. It's about what that beauty communicates. It's a kind of visual shorthand for personality, purpose, or the emotional tone of a character. Take Cortana from Halo. She's sleek, luminous, and kind of untouchable. Her ethereal design isn't random. It reinforces her role as an AI. She's attractive, mysterious, highly advanced, but also just slightly out of reach. Or Aerith from Final Fantasy.
Sure.
She's beautiful in this really soft, gentle way. Her design radiates hope and warmth, and you feel that when she's on screen.
Tifa
There's something very delicate and endearing about her that sticks with you. Then there's Eve from Stellar Blade.
There you go.
And yeah, people definitely noticed her design pretty much immediately. She's bold, striking, and yes, super hot. But what's cool is that once the game launched, the gameplay actually backed it up. And okay, can we talk about Verso from Clair Obscur for a second?
Because yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, this is a good looking dude, man. Like, I mean, it's so weird that like we're talking about this because like in a lot of these games, the male characters also look very attractive. Like, I don't want to play as an ugly looking like fat guy or something like that. Absolutely not.
He is undeniably very handsome.
Yeah, 100%.
The white hair, the posture, the somber expression. He's restrained, haunted, and you immediately feel like there's something deeper going on. These characters aren't designed to just be pretty. They're designed with intention. Their looks are part of their emotional blueprint, and the fact that they're attractive is what actually initially draws you in. Their looks tell you how to feel before a single line of dialogue. As humans, we are biologically wired to respond to beauty, and that's not a bad thing. So when a character's design feels off or it doesn't match the story we're being told, that disconnect can make it way harder to emotionally connect.
I think there's also like whenever you see ugly characters or weird looking characters in video games now, every time I see that, it gives me like it reminds me that I'm playing a video game. Because I'm thinking, oh, I'm actually not playing a video game right now, and I'm actually playing propaganda. I'm playing something that's been created for this intent to make people believe this worldview. It's like immersion breaking, basically.
This kind of visual storytelling has been around for ages.
Because, like, you know, it's not being done for a creative reason.
And it's not just in games. It's everywhere, especially in film. Taking a look at Lord of the Rings, think about Aragorn. Rugged, attractive, weathered, and quietly noble. His entire look reflects the burden that he carries, and you can see the weight of his past just by looking at him. Then there's Éowyn and Arwen, two beautiful women with totally different vibes. One is a warrior with conviction, the other is a very soft, ethereal queen. And their looks reflect who they are at their core. And that's what good design does. It supports the story. All right, switching tones completely here, but I have to talk about my love for the Mummy series very quickly. Because Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, I mean, like, big surprise, movie stars are attractive. It's like reteaching people that, like, it's like you will not accept the wheel. And they keep trying to do different things that aren't wheels. They're like, let's try a triangle. Well, how about a square? How about a hexagon? Well, no, stop it. Just go with a fucking wheel. Drives me crazy.
They weren't just very fun, flirty, iconic characters. They were extremely captivating. Their chemistry was off the charts, and they were both ridiculously attractive.
Of course.
Okay? But their beauty didn't just decorate the film, it amplified it. The adventure they were on, the romance, the danger. I actually love this series so much. I used to work at the Mummy roller coaster at Universal, and I may or may not have hearing loss in my one ear, thanks to Brendan Fraser screaming for his coffee at the end of the ride. Just a little bit of NPC lore for you.
Yeah, I bet.
So if we know that beauty helps tell the story, what about when it's entirely in the player's hands?
See, this is what I said before, right? Is like you look at a lot of the people, like there's two kinds of people that make characters, right? There are characters that people make that are like the most fucking eldritch abominations that H.P. Lovecraft could not even dream of. And then you also have people that make attractive characters. And if I look at a lot of girls' characters, what I notice is that all of their characters are attractive. And in fact, a lot of girls' characters look like them, but a fantasy version of them. And in all of the cases where it looks like them and it's a fantasy version of them, usually the fantasy version is more attractive. And there's better proportions, right? Or let's say larger proportions.
Let's talk about character customization and the literal bent on it. Video game cosmetics are a multi-billion-dollar industry. In fact, Media Research projects that purely cosmetic in-game purchases will reach $100 billion a year by 2028.
That's insane.
Let that sink in for a second. $100 billion a year.
Yeah, but hey guys, keep in mind, people don't care about how they look in video games. Yeah.
Listen, all right, I am not ashamed that I myself played a part in this pretty recently. I hadn't touched Fortnite in like 7 or 8 years, but I randomly started playing duos again over the last few months, and pretty much right after I did, I saw none other than Spike Spiegel and Faye Valentine in the shop. I was buying up those V-Bucks pretty much immediately. It was just
I've
the
never
idea
of
getting to play as some of the characters
life.
I love so much in a game that I've unironically been having a ton of fun with. It was almost like I had no choice here. Quick side note, Faye Valentine definitely goes on our list of amazing female characters.
Yeah, and guess what? She's hot. What a surprise. Wow. Wow. Who could have possibly guessed?
For sure. And I must confess, I also purchased the Sabrina Carpenter skin.
Who is also hot.
Her dress was just so pretty.
Yeah.
Now on the flip
What a
side,
surprise.
the opposite is true too. When character design fails to resonate, players clock it immediately. This is very old news at this point, but I always think about Concord.
Shit, bro, like, what were they thinking, man? Like, this is just sad. It really was. It's just sad.
This was really the first time, at least for me, that I
never
had
live
seen
it down?
so
Yeah.
much public backlash about character design. And for Concord, yeah, it kind of seems like
It's
this was one of the
deserved.
biggest reasons that it flopped.
Yep.
People did not like the characters.
No, it
They
looked like
felt
shit.
awkward, uninspired, off-putting,
Yeah.
forced. In a market full of games where the character designs are intended to be inherently beautiful, bold, attractive, Concord's cast kind of looked like they were built by a committee just to check boxes.
Yeah, designed by, like, character designed by HR.
And then there's Starfield. This game was to be massive, story-rich, world-expanding, but on top of just so-so gameplay, the one thing I kept seeing over and over again was how unappealing, bland-looking, and emotionally empty the NPCs felt. They didn't draw you in or match the tone of the world.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even think this is Bethesda's fault specifically with the, I don't think they even tried to do this. I just think the entire thing was half-assed. And like, this is just another example of the game being half-assed. Like, it's not even this wasn't even like a conspiracy. It was just like bad game bad.
They were just generic copy-paste that you didn't really want to engage with. Another game that comes to mind that I've mentioned before is Star Wars Outlaws. Unfortunately, both good gameplay and good character design were amiss here. And there were even moments where Kay Vess didn't look quite human, which is very wild.
Just remember, like, I remember whenever this game came out and people were like, no, Assassin's Creed is actually going to be really good. And I'm like, let me get this straight. So the company that's made 5 games in a row that are bad, the new one's going to be good? Uh-huh.
So stunning. The blueprint was right there, but for some reason, I guess they couldn't make a character design that did her justice. And the disconnect across all of these examples is important to note because it's not just about realism, it's about relatability. Games are probably the biggest storytelling medium, and a character's design should invite you into the story. People want to feel something when they look at a character. Excitement, admiration, curiosity. And when what you're looking at feels flat, awkward, or overly ordinary, like someone you just pass by on the street, it breaks
just
the
ugly.
fantasy.
Like, that's really it. It's just ugly. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, nobody wants to look at that. You stop right there. I mean, like, you can get into psychology of it, and that's definitely it, but it makes no sense. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're really going to say it. Yeah, they're just ugly. I think it's whenever the characters are designed in a way that people feel like is politically motivated. Like, for example, whenever you have, like, masculine-looking feminine characters, or, to a lesser extent, feminine-looking masculine characters, and you don't have, like, actual, like, real, like, manly man characters, I think that's what's very off-putting for people. And it's especially, like, overweight, etc.
And that desire for your character to look attractive and appealing, it starts even before the actual game begins. Take Baldur's Gate 3, for example. According to Larian, players collectively spent over 8,000 years just in the character creator.
But like, people don't care what their characters look like. Yeah, they don't care at all.
Like 16% of the game's total playtime.
That's insane.
Before even starting the game. And yes,
wow, what a surprise. All of the images shown here are really attractive girls. Who could have possibly guessed? What a fucking shock.
It did contribute to that. Because to me, character aesthetics are just part of the immersion. They're part of what makes an incredible game. They help me feel more emotionally anchored in the world and make for a way more enjoyable experience. And this goes for both male and female characters alike. Now, switching gears for a quick moment, bear with me here, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and out myself for a second. I love a good romantasy book. Yes, I know, but before you roll your eyes and you click off the video, please just hear me out. This genre includes some of the best-selling books on the market. You maybe have heard of series like Throne of Glass or ACOTAR, and the characters in these stories are described with this enchanted, ethereal kind of beauty. It's dramatic, it's swoony.
Hey, at least the male is a human, right? I mean, that's gotta, I mean, like, nowadays with romantic books, like, I feel like that's definitely, like, you're already doing pretty well. At least it's an actual person.
It's meant to sweep you off your feet, and that's part of the fantasy. It's part of the immersion. There's even one fan favorite image of a certain ACOTAR character that went viral, and for many fans, that's basically canon now. Godspeed to whatever casting director has to find that guy in the real world. They will come for you. The exact same thing happens in anime and animation, sometimes even more intensely. These characters are designed from the ground up to be visually appealing. Their looks are exaggerated, idealized, sometimes maybe a little too much, but we love them for it. And there's a reason that certain characters dominate cosplay every con season, or why fans fight over who's best girl.
And big surprise, it's always the characters that are attractive that dominate. Have you guys ever noticed that? It's like pretty much like a 1-to-1 ratio.
Girl or best boy with genuine passion. Even in the VTuber space, visual design is everything. And there's a reason.
Exactly. A VTuber is a great example. Like, how many VTubers are fat and ugly? Oh, that's right, 0. Because nobody wants to look at that.
VTubers put so much effort into their appearance, and people can completely fall in love with them before they ever even hear their voice. The look, the aesthetic, the vibe, it all is meant to draw people.
The Shy Lily AI chatbot had 30 million chats. That's a lot.
All of this is so important because when a character looks the way they're supposed to feel, that's when the magic happens. That's when people get protective. That's when a fandom really forms. Piggybacking off of all of that, I'd like to touch on something very quickly that gets brought up a lot in conversations like this. And that's the idea that it's just gamers that are the ones who care way too much about a character's appearance. That it's just gamers who have this problem.
Well, if you're making video games, I feel like you should make something for gamers. Like, I mean, like, the thing is, like, I mean, what do you think about this, right? Like, how does this argument even work? Well, it's just video gamers that like video game characters to be attractive. Well, yeah, but you're making video games, so shouldn't you make it for the... No, we're not. No, we're making it for a new audience, but they don't play video games. Yeah, no, we don't want gamers to play our games. Okay, they don't. Well, now you're back to McDonald's.
Like, the second someone doesn't like a design, it's suddenly, gamers are just toxic and you just need to get over it.
Sure.
But based on everything that I've said thus far, honestly, I do not think that's fair.
The thing is that even if it is fair, it's still like, okay, you think gamers are sexist and they only want one design. All right, that's fine. If you're a vegan, don't work in a steakhouse. Like, I mean, don't go there, right? Like, if you hate fucking, I don't know, if you hate candles, don't work at a candle shop. It's fucking obvious.
Because this is a thing across every genre. Everybody wants well-designed, fun, good-looking, beautiful, charismatic characters. It's how we're wired, and it's why certain characters instantly spark hype online or can aid in tanking a release before it's even out of the oven. Yes, I'm looking at you, Intergalactic.
Yeah, because people don't want to look like that. That's the reason why. All of these video games are fundamentally role-playing games. You are playing and taking on the role of this character. Most people don't want to be that character. Just go outside. There's not a lot of people dressing and acting like
character in a game needs to look like a supermodel. But what I am so tired of seeing is characters intentionally designed to be less appealing. When the people making the decisions nerf a character's looks in a way that has nothing to do with their actual background or story, they just do it just because, it really makes no sense. It creates unnecessary dissonance, and it pulls people out of the fantasy instead of drawing them in. My last note on this here is just think about celebrities. Think about how people respond to celebrities, whether they're singers or actors. How they look, their appearance is always part of the conversation. And so many times you could easily say it even contributes to their success. Even
it absolutely does. Of course, being attractive makes you more successful as a movie star. Like, I mean, and yeah, there's Danny DeVito's for sure, but there's more Brad Pitts. I mean, obviously, right? Come on.
Technically has nothing to do with what they're known for. It somehow still does, because that's just how humans respond to other humans. We're made that way. We notice, we connect, we feel, and what we see at the first glance is the very first step of that. So of course, while beauty is not everything, and it's certainly not a substitute for good writing, gameplay, or mechanics, it's so often our very first impression, and usually it's the first thing that really captures our attention, lets us know what a character is about, and makes us care. And this is something that has always mattered and will always matter, regardless of the medium being used to tell the story. And all of this is why I just do not understand why some developers keep getting it wrong. It really feels so simple. Yes, give us great gameplay.
I think the reason why they get it wrong is because they're trying to get it wrong. They want to get it wrong. That's the whole reason. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than that.
Fun mechanics, a interesting and meaningful story, but then layer attractive, pretty characters on top of that to create hype around the game, grab our interest, and hold our attention. All of this just makes for a much more enjoyable experience. For developers who are passionate about the projects that they're making, and they're doing it for the right reasons, odds are this is probably already all included.
And as somebody said, they're trying to pander to an audience that doesn't exist. I'm gonna be real. That's exactly it. They're trying to make videos, they're trying to make games and make this content for people that don't play it. And I feel like now, like that's now kind of stopped, but that was the main operating function of these companies for a long time.
Really is a guaranteed formula for success. And they're shooting themselves in the foot if the very first thing that we see is a bland, boring, or just unappealing protagonist or cast of characters.
Explain why there were no hot robots in Armored Core 6 and it was still successful. I would say that there's a lot of games where you play as like an animal, and I hope you didn't think any of them were attractive either.
Okay, thank you so much to those who made it to the end of this video. I'm genuinely so glad that you were here. Like I said at the start, this past week has been a bit of a whirlwind. I just want to say
like
I appreciate everyone and your support so much. I still really can't wrap my head around everything that's happening, but I'm just gonna be here doing my thing like I was already planning to do. So thank you again for being a part of this YouTube journey with me.
This isn't a male and female issue at all. This is actually just like it's an aesthetics issue, and it's something that transcends gender, and it just applies to basically everything else. And so, yeah, just make characters they're not actively discussing. It's not hard. As I said, I think that if you can't find out and you can't tell what gender a character is instantaneously, you have a problem. That's it. That's the big issue. What about femboys? Femboys are very popular. What do you mean? There's tons of femboys in stories and people love them. Yeah, what do you mean? Absolutely. I mean, look at, like Final Fantasy has a lot of femboy characters. I mean, I would say so at least, right? That look more feminine. Give me 1 second. I gotta use the bathroom. But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, just make something look good. Imagine that.